everybody. My name is Stassi. I am part of the Game Hers Ambassadors. I'm very excited to be part of this Twitch stream this evening. This is also my second Twitch stream ever. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm a little nervous. This is a little out of my comfort zone. I'll give you a little insight on who I am. So my name is Stassi in the Sims community. I am primarily a Sims player. I started a podcast almost 3 years ago. It'll be 3 years ago in September, where it's called Stassi J Unplugged, a Sims podcast, where I have interviewed a lot of Simmers. I have over 200 episodes in my catalog, ranging from Simmer spotlights to important issues and matters in the gaming community, as well as I host a bonus series called Real Life with Stassi, where we tackle real life matters. So I'm very excited today. This is a pilot episode that I was very lucky to be able to feature on the Game Hers Twitch stream called Live with Stassi. This will be a series that I will be doing in the fall, where I will be interviewing somebody live once a week. Now, the guest I have today, he is a very dear friend of mine. I actually have to give him all to most of the credit to why I am sitting here today. Gonz has lifted me up. He has taught me the Twitch ways, and I would not be here without him. So I could not think of a better guest to bring on. So everybody, please give a warm welcome to my very good friend. My name is Gonz. Hi! I'm good. Now I can't see. Oh, now, okay. Again, please bear with me, everybody. I'm used to doing interviews on Zoom. I can't see you. Now I can see you.
You know, it's funny. It's funny, Stassi, because what you said was very nice, but literally, you have single-handedly directed my social life for like the last year. And what I mean by that is that somehow Hurricane Story managed to convince you to put me on your podcast. And since then, dang near anybody I know is somehow related to you. Like, in some way, like everyone that I talk to is like, oh, I found you through Stassi's podcast, or oh, I found you because you're friends with Stassi. Like, everyone I talk to is Stassi related. So like my entire social life is apparently OT.
Oh,
so
well, thank you. Honestly, and this is gonna sound so cheesy, is like 3 years ago, I started this podcast in hopes to bring the community closer together. There were a couple of Sims podcasters at the time, but they weren't focusing on like Simmer spotlights and showing the amazing creative artwork and talent that the Sims community has to offer. And to be honest, the first season is definitely something, to say the least, but it's definitely kind of paved the way to what the community can be now, of, you know, like having different creators communicate and talk to each other. Maybe they would have never communicated before. They could be sitting at a round table. And I get that quite frequently of people that will fangirl over the guests. So again, thank you. Again, honestly though, like we've done how many podcasts together now? Like 10 or 15 or something, like so many. Yeah, and so many more to come, because you are honestly the most requested guest to have on that I get all the time. I keep getting, we need to do a Don Lothario townie spotlight, and we also need to do the land grabs. Those are my two most requests. You know what? That is season 3. That's season 3. But you know what? While we're let's I gotta start this off an interview as I'm used to doing. Gonz, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself and everybody listening, because this is not just on my platform. This is, you're now introducing yourself to a completely new platform of amazing gamers out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Gonz. I am a Sims content creator and streamer. My life in gaming has been, very long. And I actually used to be kind of like a variety gamer, and I found that, I had been into The Sims for years and years and years and years, but I really kind of struck a chord when I realized that there were few people talking about the story of The Sims in The Sims 4. Like, of course, everyone would talk about Bella Goth and The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, but very few people were talking about lore in The Sims 4, right? And for multiple reasons, right? There's an argument that there isn't a whole lot of it inside of The Sims 4. I argue differently, but I kind of took it on to say, well, case it's just the story is a little different, the ideas are a little different, and I kind of started taking that on, right? um and it's been an absolute pleasure to really be involved with the Sims community and meet everybody, because I think I said this in one of your podcasts, Stassi, but I truly believe that everybody who plays the Sims for a reason, and it's not, oh, it's just because it's fun, right? Because that's obviously a one way to think about it, but I feel like there's a reason why we play the Sims, right? Whether it's because of its escapism, or because it was an important aspect of our lives when we were younger, or it got us through a difficult time. We all play for that one very special, very intimate reason. And I love exploring that and meeting people and coming to understand why that is, right? Um, and I just love making people laugh, and mostly at the expense of me most of the time. Um, a little bit about like my personal self. I am, I've been living by myself for a very long time now, but I'm recently, about for the last year, I realized that I'm bisexual, and I had that revelation about myself really late in life. But I had a lot of good friends in that journey to kind of learn that about myself, and it's been great. And I always take the opportunity to try to, you know, let people know a little bit about that. But yeah, that's basically my story. That's everything about me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I feel like I've actually learned a lot more about you. And that's why I love doing these podcasts. Like, I can talk to you all the time, and we do talk quite frequently, but this is where I kind of get to know the real side of you. So thank you for sharing your journey with us. Something I love about your content, it is so original. No matter what you put out, I can honestly, from the bottom of my heart, there's nothing else out there like this. You put so much dedication out there. I love all your series. Obviously, as a chef myself, I enjoy how you made meatballs with onions and yellow peppers, no meat. So I always appreciate you're always willing to put yourself out there, and just having fun in your content. And I think that is something that a lot of content creators are really struggling with nowadays, is just remembering to have fun. We've all experienced burnout as a creator at one point or another. And if you don't have at least 3 existential crises on a monthly basis of why am I doing this, you're not a content creator.
No, yeah, that's 100% true. I mean, Court would be the first one to tell you that, like, once a month I'm like, I don't know why I'm doing this, Court. This is a waste of time. YouTube doesn't help in anything. Like, I lose, like, even then I lose it when I have those situations. But honestly, the experience of that one comment that you'll get in a video where it's like, you're so funny, or I love what you do, you're my favorite series, that almost makes it like literally worthwhile, because you've made that one person have a better day. You know what I mean? And that's critical. And I think that it would be easy, Stassi, for me to say, well, I'm going to make the easiest content I can, and I'm going to pump it out, and I'm going to make it viral, and I'm going to make it clickbaity, and it's just going to go out there, right? But I would much rather make something of substance. And if that makes a little bit less views, then I understand. But at least I've made something that the people who do watch it go, man, that's really good. And I think that's more important to me.
I could not agree more. You talked about getting that one comment. What was the last comment that you got that really got your heart going? In a positive way. In a positive way.
In a positive way. No, yeah, actually, it wasn't actually a comment in a video, but it was actually on Twitch where um someone reached me and they were like, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I've been having a really hard time, and being able to see you and laugh with you really kind of makes my day better. It improves my mood, and thank you for what you're doing. You know, um, and I think that is probably the most valuable thing that I've experienced is that kind of you know connection that I have with people, and Twitch really is where I have it because in my content, I do have my fans and people who watch my videos on the regular, but I'm at the whim of the algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, one of my videos might get 2,000 views, another one of my video might get 300,000, right? But my Twitch viewers, they're the ones who consistently show up. They're the ones who are always there, present, and I really feel like I get to know them as much as I can through my streams, and I feel like I make the most impact with them. And that's why I'm excited for you to do these live stream interviews, because over time you'll get to chat with your viewers more directly and really expand. I think it'll be good.
Thank you for sharing. It's the one comments that get you that you're just like, oh, I do this for a good reason. I want to tell you what mine was. I've had several in the last year, but this one got me. So it was the beginning of season 2. I interviewed a relatively smaller creator. I'm not going to name names, but
Okay.
very just really small. And again, I have this philosophy. If anybody listening to this, I will interview somebody who has 1 follower or a million followers. I truly don't care. We are all humans and people at the end of the day that deserve to have our stories told. So
For sure.
at the end of the interview, she asked me, because at that time in season 2, I was releasing the video portion of the full podcast. I don't do it. I didn't do it the end of season 2 because I was getting so popular and I was pushing out 4 to 5 podcasts a week some weeks. It just was not doable. So she asked me at the end, she's like, "Hey Stas, can you release your video at 3 a.m. instead of midnight like you always do?" And I said, "Sure." I literally just pick midnight. Like if there was a time before midnight that started the day, I would just do that. Like it's literally the default setting. Like that is
Sure.
how much I don't think of YouTube.
Right, right.
And I said, "Yeah, for sure." And she said, "Well, my family are farmers and we have to get up early. But if we get up at 3 a.m., we can watch my interview as a family together and then we can do our chores together."
Wow.
And I was like, "Oh my God, yes, 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 like for sure." And then I got her mom messaged me on Instagram that day and said my daughter was so happy, and I haven't seen her like that happy in a long time. It's the moms, the sisters, the dads, the brothers, the aunts, the uncles,
Yeah.
the best friends that I get DMs from of your podcast saying how happy they were to listen to that special person in their life and finally getting to talk about their authentic self of being a gamer and not being able to do that in real life. To me, that is the most wholesome part of my whole everything that I do.
No, absolutely. That's absolutely wonderful. I think that's adorable, but at the same time, so heartwarming.
Yeah.
So I definitely know how that feels for sure. And I think you've been doing something really special, Stassi. I think that um, you've been recognized for how you've brought individuals together. I mean, I think that my partner in crime, my second half, Nard villain, um, he he and I, like, I remember seeing his videos on TikTok and thinking to myself like, oh, um, I wish I could do something with him. Like I wish, like, but he's way too big. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And again, meeting Court, meeting you, meeting meeting Nard and then realizing that we have so much in common, and that we could do things together. Like that's something that a lot of creators do unless it's like mutually beneficial, right?
Hmm.
A lot of times collabs are done because, oh, you want to expand yourself, so you go to someone who's bigger than you so that they can give you exposure and things like that. But for me, I've taken a lot, I've learned a lot from you in that regard, and now for like my video series, I actually just reach out to up and coming creators and builders, and I give them an opportunity to shine because I have a platform. It might not be the biggest platform, but I have a platform, and I want to be able to expand on it, and give people the chance, and maybe I'll make friends that persist through a lifetime. And I think that that's a huge aspect of you that I think is very positive. So
Oh, well, thank
kudos
you,
to you.
Gonz. See, you are wholesome. You are sweet. For anybody,
No.
so we just filmed a podcast together last Thursday, which
Yeah.
kudos to everybody. I was like half asleep on that call. I was like taping my eyes open because it was like 9:30 p.m. and anybody who knows me in real life knows that I'm a pumpkin after like 7 p.m. So like I had just worked a 10-hour day. I bust to my friend's house, watched them play a board game because it was too complicated for this child's mind to get, and then got home at like 9:25, ran upstairs, and we chatted for almost an hour and a half, and it was so wholesome. And I specifically picked that part of the podcast to share because I know there's a soft side to you, Gonz.
Yeah.
You hide it, but I
Yeah.
see it.
I saw that the moment I saw that you posted it, I was like, oh no.
Well,
Everyone's gonna think that I'm a softie.
because you are a softie, you have the
I
biggest
am.
heart.
Yeah.
That's why I love working with you and talking with you. But like I want to talk about your Twitch journey. So I
Sure.
knew you like as you were already mid deep into your
Yeah.
Twitch journey. As someone who is currently experiencing their second ever Twitch stream, first successful one, we'll put an asterisk to that. What was it like starting off straight from the gate? Were
Yeah.
you nervous, or did you have a really good idea of what you were doing from the beginning?
All right, so I'm about to drop some lore here. All right, this is an exclusive, right? I actually started my Twitch journey as a VTuber. You will never find any of that online. I have scrubbed it from existence, but I was a VTuber
Okay.
for some time, and honestly, to be completely honest, it was because I was insecure that my weight would be a detraction from my content, right?
Oh.
I felt like how I looked would impact my success. So I was a VTuber for a short amount of time. Um, and yeah, it was fun, and it's difficult to stream, especially at the beginning, because you stream to basically no one, or to maybe like a friend or two, right? Um, and when you sit there, you just talk, and you have to just pretend people are listening, because you can't stop talking, because someone is going to show up, and the last thing you want is for them to show up, you're not saying anything, so then they just leave, right? So you have to just talk, and there's so much insecurity about that, Stassi, because you worry about what you're saying, if you're being interesting. Um and really, for me, it became the thing I had to learn was to stop looking at the viewer count, stop thinking about what you're saying, and just be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people who like you for you will gravitate towards you, and you will build a community if you're lucky, because it's all luck at the end of the day, right? um, but people will gravitate to your personality. You'll develop a community of individuals that care about you and that you care about them, and that's really what it is. You do have to sort of overcome those fears and those thoughts about yourself. whenever you stream. At least that's been my experience, and I own it now. Like my whole gimmick, Stassi, on my stream is that I'm kind of a bit of a himbo. Like I'm silly. You know what I mean?
Yes.
and people like to pick on me and joke around and everything, but it's a whole aspect there. But honestly, it's a ton of fun, and that was the biggest thing for me.
Well, thank you so much for sharing and even giving me some guidance. Something I've always struggled with Twitch is you have seen me starting to even attempt to start a Twitch stream. I have 3 panic attacks, sweat dripping from my eyebrows, just all the great stuff. And I was really, I'm still scared. It's a new platform that I'm not used to doing, but I'm willing to take that next step because I believe in me so much that I'm willing to be scared. I'm willing to put myself out there. And I think that is what most people's beginning of the Twitch stream is you get 0 views. I was so scared of that. Because I have a lot of people listen into my podcast on their time, not my time, right? So I was always scared. I'm like, well, what if I get the best guest in the whole Sims community, and everyone's around, and they're like, well, I have to stream on Eastern time, so I've now just eliminated most of my audience. So I'm like, okay, so they're not gonna watch this. I'm gonna have one person, and I have ADHD on the best of days, and I couldn't even imagine watching the viewer count. Because, I get caught for clock watching all the time, because especially this past week, about my Forever and Always panel, which I'm very excited about, which I will plug at the end of this. But we had to do a 10-minute interview with 8 cast members and my co-director. Do you know how hard that was? Because it was not easy. It was not easy. But I was really,
and a lot, if not all of them, are creators too. So they're very
every single one of them was a creator. I literally had to say, and I literally have my notebook here with my question of saying, "Hi, who do you play in Forever and Always, and how will this film impact? What do you hope the viewers take away from this film?" I asked it 7 times in 4 minutes because I had to get 25-second sound bites.
No, that's wonderful that you pulled it off.
Thank you. But going all back to this, I was really scared, even 6 months ago. Kev the Builder, podcast friend and a dear friend of mine, has been encouraging me to Twitch stream for a long time. And I was like, no, because we did an actual podcast together beginning of last year, and we went through step by step on how to do the Twitch stream. And I listened to it today because I was like, this is an hour and a half walkthrough. I will impress Gonz with my knowledge. And it just didn't stick.
No. So there's a joke that I have with my mod team, and a lot of my mod team are actually streamers as well. And there's something about the moment you hit that live button where everything just goes out the window.
Yes.
You forget how to do everything. You forget how to move around your scenes. You forget your audio. Everything just shuts down. You know what I mean? And that's a lot of the reason why the mod team is so dependable, because the mod team, they're not on camera, so they can work through a situation and be like, look, you're fine, do this, or you're okay, or whatever. And that's really the value of it. So you got to find a mod. I mean, I'm happy to mod for you, but you need to find a consistent mod. I nominate Court. Court's gonna be.
I was gonna say, I was like, Court, if you're watching, love you. No, if anybody's listening to this is like, Stassi needs help, please message me at the end of this, because I truly don't know what I'm doing. But again, thank you for sharing your Twitch journey. Now, a lot of people who I have interacted with on the Gamers community are lots of different types of games, but not a lot of Sims players to who I have talked to. Talk to me as an adult who's in my 30s that plays The Sims. Why do we still play The Sims in our 30s? What do you think takes it back to us? I know we all play the game for our own reasons. To me, it's to be creative. I used to have several creative jobs in my career. I no longer have a creative job. So I particularly use it to be creative. That's where if I want to have an hour and a half of just letting myself go and designing whatever I want, or creating, when I used to do Rose Chronicles, before, I pulled the plug on that. That used to be my favorite thing to do, was to spend 15 hours on a chapter and just to get to be an author. And I got to produce my own story through The Sims. So what is it for you that makes you want to continue to be in the Sims community?
So I'm going to answer that, but someone in chat just asked you what your favorite Sims game is. I'll jump right back into that, but I want to hear that.
Oh, thank you, because I appreciate that. I can't actually see your questions. At my point, it says I have nobody here, and I was texting Gonz being like, "There's no one here. Should I start?" So that's a really good question. My favorite game is The Sims 2. The reason The Sims 2 is my favorite is because it was so legendary at the time. That was actually also the first video game that I ever bought with my real money. I saved up my money to get it. So I'm Canadian, and I'm close to a border town, or at least where I was born and lived. We're about an hour and 15 minutes away, and the Target had an exclusive Sims 2 edition, and you got some extra bonus stuff. And we used to go to the States quite frequently, so it wasn't out of the norm to have my family go to the States. And I remember I walked into Target, spent my 60 USD, and at the time that wasn't such a brutal exchange rate. And I held it in my hands the entire time, and it was just that moment of like, this is my game, and I can't wait to go home and play it. Asterix, our house computer couldn't handle it, and I couldn't get to play it for 6 months. But it was just the success of babysitting and doing extra chores around the house that I got to own that game. So that game is a really special spot in my heart, next to The Sims, like the first one, and then Sims 4. Sims 3, I didn't really get a chance to play it because I was in college and culinary school at the time. Yeah. So that took a little bit more priority. Now I have to ask you, Gonz, because I've never actually asked you this. What is your favorite version of The Sims?
So my favorite version of The Sims is actually Sims 3.
Okay.
Right? So when The Sims came out, right? And just for some context, I'm Latino, right? And I lived in Miami, Florida for a lot of my life. And at the time, my family, when I was young, was not very well off at all, right? We were fairly, we had struggles with money and everything like that. So a lot of ways that my older brothers were able to play games were through getting burned discs of games and stuff, which isn't right, but that's how we did it, right? And one of them was actually The Sims 1. And I remember playing it, and I love that idea. Like, I love the idea of building a little home and simulating individuals and putting them in pools for them to suffer and stuff. That was really the thing that I loved. And then Sims 2 came out, and I enjoyed that too. But Sims 3 really where everything changed for me. It was such a powerful game, and I loved playing it. I loved the stories. I loved the characters. The lore was really, really expressive there in a way that it wasn't in the previous games. And when Sims 4 came out, I actually took a break. I was actually, I can't do this. I don't like it, which is why I disappeared. That's why it's the running joke that I'm not a simmer, because I play The Sims 4 and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I don't. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But I know how to play The Sims 3 very well, and it's kind of an aspect for sure. So Sims 3 is my absolute favorite for sure.
Well, I love that.
And Luna says hi.
Hi, Luna.
All right, so let me go back to your question. So you asked me why I think people play The Sims
as adults, as 30-year-old adults that can barely afford to buy our own homes, can barely stay awake to have our own jobs, and can barely afford food.
Yeah, honestly, so I think it's a couple of things, right? I think that, and this is a very deeply personal question. So when I give you my answer, it's not like the de facto this is why,
Mhm.
but rather this is why I think, right? In a lot of aspects, as I mentioned a little earlier, I believe that there is a response to trauma in it, that perhaps you played the game when you were younger and it helped you, whether it was to recognize your own feelings and your own struggles, and perhaps questions and doubts that you had in your mind. Like maybe you played the Sims and you explored, you know, same sex relationships at a time where you didn't feel comfortable saying that maybe that's how you felt. You know what I mean? um it allowed you to create these little like fantasy ideas of how you wanted life to be, or maybe you didn't have a lot of money, so you created these beautiful houses that you hoped that you could have one day, right? And you really kind of spent your time that way. And honestly, that's what I think is how that plays out. Like that I think at the end of the day we're all playing it because it helped us at such a pivotal moment in our lives, and we continue with it for that reason. So yeah, I think that's one of the main key points.
I think that was
So
such a
yeah.
beautiful answer. So thank you for it was
Definitely.
but it's true though. And like something that I'm really hoping that the EA team will do. I will not share my true opinion of some of Daddy EA's things that he does. But
Yeah.
something I really do
Yeah.
hope that we will have true representation of, let's say, wheelchairs, missing limbs, because, or I know we just got hearing aids last year, which was an amazing step. I like, what if we had a blind sim? Not everybody is hearing
That would be
paired or
great.
vision paired. Like I want to have all inclusivity as a Caucasian blonde hair, 30-year-old. It's very easy to make me in The Sims. Here's my number one. The only reason you can't like truly make me is there's no highlights. There's no natural highlights. There's no ombre. Wow, first world problems. But then you have someone who wants to make their authentic self, and they have to look for custom content to get their authentic skin color, their authentic body, their authentic facial features, their authentic if they needed a wheelchair or a walker or crutches and stuff like that. So I really do hope that we will see that more as we see more packs. I will say I won't harp so much anymore on the worlds, because we are starting to get more worlds that are not just Western based worlds. In my
Yeah.
opinion, like I got really tired. I'm like, oh, look, it's a California world. Oh, it's New Orleans. Oh, wow, San
Yeah.
Francisco. Like I want to see more more cultures represented. Now, I am Daddy EA's latest assistant. I'm going to give you the ability to create your dream expansion pack in The Sims,
Mhm.
down
Mhm.
to the world and what is the
Mhm.
theme about. What are you doing,
Mhm.
Gonz?
Mhm. Fairies. No,
Sorry,
that's the.
sorry. That is an inside joke right now between the four of us. Court is like scrunching
Oh
her
god.
face. We love you.
I demand fairies in The Sims. I feel like I'm not asking for a whole lot here. No, but okay. So honestly, if I was to really like take a understanding of that question and really ask myself like what would be the perfect expansion, right?
Mhm.
Honestly, for me, it it is to go completely left field. And what I mean by that is every expansion that The Sims 4 has had recently has been some um not really inside when everyone knows the man wants fairies more than life itself. Sorry, read the chat. No, but so here's the thing, right? In the Sims 4, right? We had expansions that were related to the real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Growing together, get to work, right? And then we had this period of like a cult, right? Where it was
Mm-hmm.
like vampires, werewolves, all this good stuff. And then after that, right back to real life parallels,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just, everything related to real life, which is great because they're moving in the path of inclusivity and focusing a lot on those aspects, which I think is amazing, right? But I want to go back to Sims 3 and have like a medieval expansion, like an actual medieval
Yes.
expansion in a medieval world with knights and dragons and fairies and all these, cool things, or going to like a sci-fi world, or like, something, because that's what they did in the Sims 3. In the Sims 3 they had these crazy, just random expansions that were just all over the place, and they were so fun, and that's what I want to see. That's what I want. That would be my perfect expansion. Would be that it would be like a Game of Thrones fantasy world, like complete with dragons and elves and fairies, and just that. Honestly, that would just be the best thing for me, right? Um, do I think it's realistic? I don't know. Like, but I would love to, or like a pirate expansion, like going and just having a bunch of pirates and being on a boat, or build your own boat. How awesome would that be if there was like a boat lot
Yes.
where you could actually build a boat? You know what I mean? Like that would be so cool. And I feel like we're not doing that a lot nowadays, so
No, we're not. And honestly, I want to piggyback on your answer because so hard. Because obviously, when the EA team put out like what kits you wanted, I don't want to be accused of cyberbullying. However, I did put my persuasion to castles in goth because we didn't need pink and futuristic. I wanted goth and castles. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like obviously the castle kit was good, like you can make castles and like all that stuff. But I want the medieval world. As somebody who, like literally all of my sim storytelling took place in an alternate universe where there was demons and angels and elves and stuff, right? So like all of that was CC. And I'm actually going to get rid of all that off my computer so I can free up 87 gigs of space because that's how big my
Is that all?
yeah. But out of a computer that has 250 gigs, 87 gigabytes is a lot of my computer. But I want that experience. Obviously, I need to live out my House the Dragon vibes. I need to be a Khaleesi. Yeah. Okay? Like that's what I want. But I would totally take a Pirates. I loved Pirates of the Caribbean. Like I want more of this adventure stuff. But if I'm going to be honest with you, I could just pop my head behind me and you will see my Sims collection. I can probably just walk over to the latest whatever Sims 2 expansion they haven't done yet.
Yeah.
And that will be the next expansion pack in The Sims.
Yeah. That's very true. I think I honestly think that's a really like a fair fact. It seems like, and again, this has just been my experience with The Sims so far, is that again, their focus has been on highlighting aspects of culture that maybe have not had the best representation, which I think is fantastic, right? Honestly, I cannot complain about that. But I think that the Sims team might incorrectly have the opinion that that's all we want.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people want like a sci-fi, game, or they want more occult stuff or a medieval land or something like that. I think that, but at the same time though, if you look at the Sims team, think of what they've done and how they've been burnt by it, right? They did Batu and people absolutely destroyed them for it, right? They thought it was a complete waste. Realm of Magic, I seem to remember Realm of Magic wasn't received well.
It was not.
Like it wasn't. Yeah, it was not received well, right? So like, I understand that to EA they're probably like, oh well, like people really don't want this, so we're just gonna keep giving them like real life things that they could use or whatever, So yeah.
Honestly, I can already hear when I release this interview on my podcast stream. We want cars. We want open world. We want color wheel. Like it's not like they're not going to release an expansion pack with a color wheel. Maybe cars.
Mary Kate. Sorry, Mary Kate just said that we just like fantasy. That's we're complaining, but we just like fantasy.
I love fantasy. That is like literally my entire life. If I could be a goddamn princess, I would wear a. You saw a picture of my wedding dress. I looked like a goddamn cupcake. I was big. Okay. This is how my wedding dress looked for everybody who is my age and has watched Cinderella's Story with Hilary Duff. Okay, you know when she goes down the stairs and she is in that white dress? I imitated that for my wedding because that was an iconic moment in my childhood because I wanted to have a big puffy dress, and I did. It was about 50 pounds walking down the aisle, and I'm 5 foot, guys, so that is it was hard to do. I would not recommend it. And if and then I had a second dress, which was a lot more fun and easy to dance with. But I want to be a princess, Prince Gonz over here. Could you just imagine? Like, can you imagine? Could you legit imagine all of the Game of Thrones Let's Plays we would see? Like, I would have. It would just be, yeah. I would. Okay, if they ever make a medieval pack, I would dust off these old shoulders, and I would do a YouTube pay. Like, I would go back to YouTube and actually do Let's Plays. Yeah. Like, I would have so much fun with that. I kind of feel like even with like Love Struck that just came out, like, I'm not going to do a Black Widow challenge. I'm not going to do, 100 partners with like, how many partners can I get? Like, it's not my gameplay, but that's the beauty of The Sims. It's an individual game for all of us. For sure. That's why I would be very hesitant to do it as a multiplayer, because that time is for me. What are your thoughts on multiplayer?
That's true. Okay, so I think that I agree with you. I think that there is something to be said, and there are games that have done this, like Second Life and other games like that, but there's something to be said about being able to invite your friends to see your world and maybe just hang out in there and do silly things together on a Discord call. Like, if I was to be able to be like, hey mods, come over to my house and we can have like a little, like, let's chat for a little bit and we just can like hang out as our sim versions in our house, like, that's cool. You know what I mean? But if it was like a real multiplayer where like I had to go into a lobby and I had to like, do that, then that's not the experience that I would want. Like, I wouldn't want to go in and like click on like create your own lobby or create another lobby and then like that's not what I would like. I would like the ability to actually like invite my friends over and hang out and stuff like that. I think that would be cool to that extent. You know what I mean? And I think I would enjoy that, honestly. And I don't want to say it, but like it would go down like an R-rated like path real quick.
Oh my god. Well, all I kept thinking was IMVU. Okay, like that was a huge part of like me like being a teenager, being like, I can create my avatar and talk to anybody in the world, and you can come to my pink room, because that's all. I couldn't afford any of the extra shit. I mean, stuff. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm used to hosting an 18A podcast where swearing is very much okay, and I forget that the S word is a swear word.
Exactly. There you go.
But yeah, I like that part would be fun, or like I could just be like, oh, like come to like my studio and we can do an interview as our sim selves. But at the same time, I think that would be fun for 10 minutes and then we would never do it again. It's kind of like horses, like you were talking about. Like everybody wanted horses. Who uses horses now? Now I can hear every person that plays horses in The Sims being like, how dare you? I've been waiting my whole life for this.
And I think there's certain people like myself that I buy every pack that comes out, almost like it's just the next chapter that I have to own.
Okay.
Right? So to an extent, like if I get like when the horse expansion came out, right? I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm excited, and I was doing a deck challenge, so I was like even more excited. But I see it as this growing like Lego box of stuff that I have that I can use whenever, right? Because I might not use the horses, but I do use a lot of the build by items in my gameplay, you know. And I think I don't know. Let me turn around and ask this question to you.
Sure.
Do you think that The Sims would be successful if instead of releasing packs, they sold everything piecemeal for the equivalent price, right? But if they sold like the windows for like 5 to 10 cents, or the horses themselves for like $5, like, do you think that would be successful?
No, I do not. I think that's more of a like an Sims 3 store, like very microtransaction heavy. I'm very concerned of that being the case in other Sims franchises, that they will go back to a store. That is something that I don't like about other games. I won't name them here because if I ever had the chance to work with an actual gaming company, I can't be like no. But I don't think so. I wouldn't. It would just annoy me more. Like, obviously, expansion packs are expensive, especially for us here, because they're like $60, which is very expensive. But I would not spend. So say it's like 50 cents per window. I would never do that, or if I had maybe one too many whiskeys and I was making The Sims, because that's like my favorite thing to do, I'd be like, oh, I can afford a 50 cents window. Oh, I can afford a 10-cent plant. And then like, oh, this is now $180 of windows and plants. So like, I think I like it a little bit more. Like, I know what I'm getting myself into. Actually, what I was actually going to ask you, since you have like all the packs, like, have you ever have you ever participated in a Sims Builder collab on Instagram?
I am not a builder.
Okay, but so are people that are not in builders collabs. You would be surprised. I think you would be shocked, to be honest with you. I don't know. It's such a fun part of the community. Like, I'm part of one that will be coming out on Monday. I have to think of like the 4th or the 5th. I was like, honestly, and then my body's mad at me. They're like, when the 4th is, because that is when Tropical Storm Debbie is supposed to hit Orlando. And I'm like, oh, I will save that conversation for after this chat.
So honestly, about that, like, honestly, I've thought about it. The reality is that my Sims gameplay, especially like when it comes to like building and storytelling and everything, that's still, even though I'm a public like Sims content creator, it's still very personal, right? Yeah. Like, what I do on The Sims, I don't really talk about all that much. I don't really explore any of it, because what I do on stream is I do fun little competitions, or if I am doing content, I'm doing like lore related stuff, right? But I think one of the ideas that I've had before, Stassi, is that I actually wanted to do something similar to those build streams, but I wanted to just do like an actual building competition, but like be the host of it. You know what I mean? Like, actually have everyone come on to the stream and be like, hey, everybody, this is the Gonz games, and this is all these are your competitors, and this is what they're going to build, and they build in real time, and like being able to kind of bring all that together. I think that would be so much fun, but honestly, I've never thought about it. And Mary just said in the chat that I just like to watch. I'm a voyeur. So apparently that's weird. I'm sorry to like switch topics. The way that I used to play The Sims, especially Sims 1 and 2, is that I would just hit play and just watch. Like, I would just sit there and just watch them autonomously do their thing. And apparently that's weird. And I didn't think it was.
No, I don't think it is. I don't.
Yeah, apparently it's a weird thing. But yeah. I used to just watch to see what would happen, honestly. And it was crazy. But yeah.
Honestly, Gonz, I think that's something that you should do. I think you should push outside. If that's something that you want to do, you will make a fantastic host. I know that very
I
well.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. I think that'd be so much fun. It's something different. Like obviously there's the builder games, which is
Yeah,
on Instagram, and then you have tattooed simmers. There was the draft, not the draft wars. The draft games. I know. I asked Alex about that too when I was talking to him on Saturday. I'm like, we need to go back and do this, okay? Like I was prepared. I still have my list of the packs I have selected. Getting prepared.
Alex is off like living the best life, so I've just kind of abandoned that idea while he does his thing.
I don't know. I think if Alex called me up right now and said, "Stas, we're gonna do this on Monday," I'd be like, "Well, we got to do it Thursday because I'm gonna be in Orlando." But yes, let's do it Thursday. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be really fun, and it would just be another way to tie the community together. Because really, right now, there's like 6 Simmers communities. There's Instagram, there's TikTok, Twitch, X,
Sims Talk.
Sims.
It's officially Simstagram and Sims Talk.
Sims Talk.
And I don't think there's a Twitch. There's not a Twitch version of that.
It's just Switch. There we go. It's just Switch, guys. But bringing those communities together, because I would say I'm relatively big on Instagram. But no TikTok person knows who I am or if I exist. And X is even just more like, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do that? But like, I think it would be fun to bring people over to Twitch, because everybody starts off, I feel like, as a YouTuber because we all watch Little Simsy and we're like, we can do this. And then we realize like, oh, we can't. That's harder than it looks. And then we go to Instagram, and I will confidently say this, that Simstagram, like the true Simstagram people, not the people on the outside, are generally really supportive. Especially if you're a builder. Every build is the best build, and it's a huge warm hug. I don't even touch TikTok on a good day. That community just seems a lot. We're not even going to talk about the Facebook community of The Sims, because that is that's still a thing. That's still a thing.
Yeah.
But like,
still a thing. Yeah,
but like being able to put I think that'd be fun to watch people, or like kind of make it like a Survivor style show of being like, come hither. We're going to make you build X, Y, and Z, and then make your sim do the challenge, and then get out. We're gonna vote you out, and just kind of like, I don't know, it'd be fun. It'd be something different, and this community always has such original, amazing ideas. So I think I can see this in 2025, the Gonz games. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I've started building out my relationships with builders. I have my Renovator Relocate series. Which honestly started at this like most random idea where I was just sitting there one day and I was like, man, it'd be awesome to do like a TLC, like HGTV version of The Sims. You know, I thought that would be so much fun. And I just went with the cheesiest, most, saccharine little like, you know what I mean? Mary doesn't like Gonz games, so we need to change that.
Oh,
no, but yeah,
sorry, Mary.
I went with the craziest, like, over the top thing, and people really gravitated to it, right? And for a long time I was doing all of the builds, and then I started thinking like, no, like I should include other individuals who aren't like YouTubers or TikTokers necessarily and are on Instagram, who could give me their builds, and I could credit them accordingly in the videos and put them in. And really I've had a lot of interest in that. So far I featured Court. I featured Juby Sims. I have one coming out with Koki Creative this week, and Pacific Creative is actually coming out soon too. And I intend to reach out to other builders on Instagram and individuals that I know that I feel like could really show off in that way. And I think it's a great idea. And eventually, once I've built that network, I would love to do like a large scale thing. So Cord is saying that you need to build for me. So now we need to make that happen, Stassi. So you're gonna have to build a house for me at some point.
I totally will. Honestly, I surprise myself of how good of a builder I actually am. I just get scared because there's so many amazing, talented builders out there, and I'm just like, I still do the old school cheats. I don't use Tool because it scares me, and I don't have MC Command Center, so I don't have any of this stuff. My computer can't even handle MC Command Center, so I don't know. But again, I'm really excited to share this build that I made on Monday. So honestly, I would build you whatever you wanted, but my niche is not homes, so we're gonna have to switch that gear because I build businesses. No, that's okay, my thing is I build businesses. Like that's my favorite thing to build. It's like
I see.
I'm like I think that's a sign I should be a property manager and just build businesses all day because like that's all I want to do. But I totally build for you.
I love that.
But if you even want more people, I know hundreds and hundreds of Sims builders that I have interviewed on either written spotlights or just podcasts themselves, or just really small up and coming creators. I keep my fingers in all of the pots. So if you need anybody, or you're like, I'm looking for somebody that does this, please DM me because I will point you in the right direction.
No, absolutely. We'll do that. I think that would be a ton of fun. But yeah, I mean, it's we'll explore what 2025 is going to look like. But yeah, I think what do you think is going to be the next Sims 4 expansion pack? What do you think is this upcoming season?
I hope for no more expansion packs this year. I think.
No, we're definitely gonna get another one for sure.
Okay, but why? No, I'm serious. Like, okay, but why? Okay, so like, I want to go back to the days where they're not competing with Marvel they're rushing out content, and I really kind of feel that way about The Sims. I think there were, because I just bought the Bistro pack for this upcoming collab, and I was like, there was a game pack that came out this year. What? Crafting Crystals or whatever it was called, and I was like, I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah,
it's great. Yeah.
I mean, if I ever got back into making Rose Chronicles, I would be there in a heartbeat because it's all like the moon-based stuff and a lot of astronomy-based stuff, which really took place in that universe. However, I'm hoping for no more expansions. I probably won't get that. But if I had to pick my next expansion, I would love an Australian world. I would love to see the culture of Australia represented. I also would like to see them try to do the Great Coral Reef. I would also like them to incorporate swimming, actually swimming, and being able to like dive down properly and taking photos of like stuff underwater and having like that experience. I think that would be a lot of fun. My computer would die by trying to load the graphics. I can barely load the bird graphics on a good day, so I cannot imagine a swimming fish. But like
I think that's actually a good idea. I think there's an aspect of like, The Sims is very careful about dealing with like phobias, and thalassophonia and like deep water phobias is a thing. So they would have to make it very like, very pretty, very kind of like, you're in like a little coral, nothing scary about it. You know what I mean? Like they would have to just make sure that it's very, very kind of contained, right? But I do love the idea of like Australia or like a amalgamation of like Australia and New Zealand.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that would be great. Like APAC. That would be awesome, I think. I think having like Sulani's the only one with volcanoes, right?
That is correct.
As far as we know.
And the reason I'm picking, swimming, and especially if we're going to piggyback on New Zealand, obviously we have to do Lord of the Rings. Like you can't think of New Zealand without LOTR. Okay, like you just can't.
Yeah, that's true.
Or like The Hobbit or anything like that. But when it comes to swimming, it's very hard to get your sim underwater without it looking very cheesy, or you can't see them. I spent weeks doing it for Rose Chronicles, and I struggled hard with custom poses, and it still was hard. So, like, I would want to, again, go down and get to experience, like, you know, like water and fish and all that stuff. And you're right, like, they really make it a little bit more children safe. I think that's the word I would want to use. And, you know, like, deep water phobia is a huge thing, but that could even be, like, a trait. Scared of deep open water, right? So I don't know. I just want something different. But obviously I don't think I'm gonna get a medieval world. I don't think I'm gonna get pirates. I don't think we're gonna get fairies. I don't think we're gonna get cars. I don't think we're gonna get an open world. I don't think we're gonna get a color wheel. And if we get any of those things, I do think Sims 4 is done at that point.
No, so I think so I don't know if you know this, but there is actually a running thing where every major pack that comes out includes an Easter egg for the upcoming season.
Yes, we've talked about that.
Yeah. So like I think in this last one, I forget what pack it was, and maybe someone in the chat will bring it up. But in one of the last packs, they actually had the vibrating bed in like behind like a crate or something like that you could see it.
Okay.
You know? And so that was like an aspect there that we had, and it actually looks like we're in ads at the moment, Stassi.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if we want to probably hang out for like a minute or something to just wait so that people can hear us, so we can just hang out for a second.
Yeah.
Remind me to make like a little like ads to pop up on your screen.
Okay, because I can't see ad. I can't see anything. I am literally blind. I see a minute 8:22, 0 viewers. No chat.
Yeah, because that's your stream. Yeah, so we're running a couple of ads, so we could just hang out.
Cool. Wait, would they then see this after?
No.
No.
It'll just kick in right after. Like right now they could see our faces, but a lot of them can't hear us unless they have what's called like Twitch Prime or something like that.
Okay.
So yeah, but a lot of them can't. So usually they'll say in the chat like ads, and then we'll be able to go from there. Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So of course. Yeah.
Well,
hang out for a second.
I mean, we're at we're an hour 09. Like, how are you doing? Do you want me to wrap this up soon?
No, we're doing great.
Do you have other stuff you got to do?
No, we're good.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
We can chat for a little bit.
Okay. I was thinking probably by like 9:45, kind of wrap this up, do our outros, and then I would say goodbye to you, and then I would go back to vlog and thank everybody.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That sounds good.
Cool.
Beautiful.
And thank you again. I'm actually feeling... Oh.
No, you're good. Yeah, so there's one thing I wanted to chat with you about regarding building, because I wanted to talk about that. Mm-hmm. Jen, who's actually on the not you, but the Jen that's on the chat, is she's a builder, mm-hmm. and one of the things that she hates is non-functional builds, right? So like, if the build is pretty, but you can't like cook on the surfaces or you can't click on things, she hates it. Like she hates it. How do you feel about that? Do you like functional builds, or do you just like builds that look good?
I have a complicated answer for that one. So okay. Thank you, Jen, for the question. Also, fellow Jen, I appreciate you. We're on the same level. So how I look at builds is it's a work of art, and it's up to the artist to decide how they want to display that art. I particularly build non-functional because I have a true vision, and I don't really care if it works, because I don't build for the community. I build for me. So, and I put that out there. I'm like, it's not going to work. Like, I've got like, right. I got stuff everywhere, but in my mind, I'm really satisfied with it. Now, if you are a builder and you're in the gallery trying to find, especially if you're a console player and you need a specific build and you can't have custom poses and it's really frustrating, or if you're not a storyteller, you're like a let's play and your sim can't cook a grilled cheese because everything's blocking the way. I understand that frustration. Right. Those types of builds are not meant for that. But if you're just doing a build just for you and you want to let your vision go, do whatever you want to do. Like, again, like, I'm all non-functional and functional. It just depends on what I'm doing. But when I was making Rose Chronicles exclusively, none of my builds were functional because I had custom poses for everything. So I would literally play it like a set. What are your thoughts, Gonz? I'm curious.
Well, so I think that for me, obviously, if it's for the purpose, I think, okay, so I dislike the idea of falseness in social media. And what I mean by that is that, like, I don't like when with social media we focus on like all the positives and we don't talk about ourselves, so that everyone's life looks amazing, right? Everyone's life looks incredible. It looks, you know, like it's the best life in the world, and we never talk about like the things that affect us, right? So similarly, I think with like, I hate that I go to the like the gallery and I'll see this beautiful looking sim and I'll download it and it looks nothing like that because they use like replacement mods on their thing, and then like it's not accurate, right? Same thing with like builds, is that if you make a build and it looks beautiful, like, yeah, it looks great, but you are sort of incentivizing individuals to download your builds because they think it'll be a functional build, and then it's not, right? Yeah, like Mary just said, it's like catfish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I don't like that at all. And I again, I understand if it's like for the purposes, like you said, of like making your stories and your pictures and stuff, because you're not necessarily telling people go download my builds or look how good of a builder I am because of this I made. You know what I mean? And I think that like in the case of Jen, she builds for the purposes of being able to play the game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's a fantastic aspect because she's existing within the confines of the game itself. You know what I mean? And she's incredibly like considerate of that, and I think that that's an awesome way to take it. But I again, I see your point 100%, but that's mine. I'd rather, you know, exist within the confines of the game where I can. And yeah, that's how I feel about it. But I will say though, I feel like EA kind of like shoots their own foot sometimes, you know?
Oh yeah.
So did you see that? So Chad, in case you don't know this, if you put a sim up and use the hashtag #LoveStruckSingles, it will put you into the queue of being part of Cupid's Corner, which is like the Tinder of that, right? So one person added Shrek into the gallery 500 times using LoveStruckSingles to try to get Shrek onto Cupid's Corner. And I think that that's the best thing ever because since EA didn't do any kind of like planning, Smash would smash. It's like I love that.
I could not agree more. That's absolutely hilarious. But again, like that's just like the funny aspect of, again, it's sweet, it's innocent, right? And like I don't know, I think that's absolutely hilarious. But I do get the point of like what you and Jen and Mary are saying, that it's not, it is catfishing to an extent. I think we need to do a better job at saying like this is non-functional. Do not download this if you want to play with this. I also think EA needs to do a little bit better job to stop reposting. Obviously, you can see if you've downloaded something and you've just re-uploaded it, it will say by the original person, but there's still ways to get around that. So I definitely think it's really sad. And you'll see a build like 17 times in the same, and you're like, oh, reposted here, reposted here, reposted here. And that's when you're getting the credit taken away for your amazing work. Because we know builds take like 1,000 hours, unless you're Juby Sims, who can make a castle in 47 minutes. And you're like, how? 47 minutes? I'm like lightly planning my landscaping. And by lightly planning it, there's one hill in the back left corner that no one will see.
I guess my question really on that is, so for example, any builder, right? And I say this with no hate. I'm being sincere about this question, right?
Yeah.
Like any builder will build something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they will immediately, like, they'll put reshade on, they will frame the picture, they will do post processing,
Yeah.
right? Are you a builder or are you a photographer or are you both?
Both.
Right? Like, I suppose both, really.
Yes.
Like that you're capturing a moment, you know what I mean? But I feel like to an extent, I feel like that bears mentioning. You know what I mean? Like that bears mentioning.
Oh, it for sure does.
In some capacity.
I was so confused when I joined Simstagram. I was like, how is everybody a graphic designer? How are you getting these shades? How is this reflection a thing? Like, where's the sun?
Right.
Like, how are you getting sunspots? I just think,
right, exactly.
And I think the thing is because beautiful build, like Instagram specifically, will take a beautiful build and share it infinitely more than what EA puts out, and there's nothing bad with that, because you can see, like, I can go look at a build that I've, like, Rapunzel's castle. I reshaded that so the cows came home, and I edited it, and it looks beautiful in the Instagram photo that I put. But the EA lot that it was placed on with the angle, I'm pretty sure there's a bird flying by it, and there's like a hill and like a stoplight. So I think it's just kind of more of like, this is the vision I saw of this when I made this, so this is how I want to present it. It's no different in when you're cooking an object. Yeah, I can bake a cookie and I can give it to you and you're like, this is just a boring cookie. Or I could plate it for you and properly serve it, and then that's the vision I had for this cookie.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Oh, do you have the same thoughts about that, or do you think people are catfishing?
Yeah. No, I feel like there's an artistic aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are builders and then there are like style builders. You know what I mean? And I'm not really one to call like one way or the other, but that's my opinion.
Gotcha. Well, Gonz, I got a couple more questions for you, and then we're going to wrap up, because we are hitting the period of my life where I'm like, I am turning into a pumpkin. I need to go to bed. My cat is asleep.
Sure,
pretty sure my husband is asleep. Mm-hmm. It is time for me to also join the sleepy lands of sleeping, going to sleep, watching, pick a form of Haunting of Hill House or any dark show, or actually no, Midnight Mass. That is all what I'm about right now. If anyone has looking for a very good dark show, Midnight Mass. It is absolutely phenomenal. Anyways, so we got to talk a little bit about your experiences, on Twitch. We got to learn that you will be doing a builders competition in 2025 on Twitch. You just haven't nailed down the plans yet. But what other exciting plans does the rest of 2024 hold for you? Is there anything that you want to share with us that you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm currently working with a couple of individuals on doing much larger versions of my videos, right?
Okay.
Of finding a way of doing grander, like, cooking videos and doing grander lore videos, and maybe expanding into the long form content of things. But a lot of the other stuff I can't talk about due to NDA, but keep, just watch me and you'll see the exciting things coming.
Well, that is very exciting. I'm glad to watch you grow. It's almost been a year, since our first podcast, which is crazy. I think
1 year.
It was it Bella Goth? It was Bella Goth was our first episode, which was back in November. And I have to tell you this, that is the most streamed podcast that I have. Still to this day.
Yeah, it's also one of my larger Sims videos. Yeah.
Right? Everyone is so interested.
People love hearing about Bella.
I know. Yeah. That's why when they announced the Sims movie, they're like, Bella Goth's horror. And I literally sent you the link. Because everybody and their dentist, their mother, their mailman was asking me, because it's kind of like the Swiftie effect. They know I play The Sims. So when they hear news, they automatically think of me as if you're a Swiftie and your friends and family are not, but they're like, oh, she likes Taylor Swift. And everyone was like, do you think it's going to be about Bella Goth? And I'm like, no, I don't actually. And they're like, whoa, why not? I'm like, because it's not going to be. Right. You can't just do a Bella Goth movie in like 2 hours and wrap it up. Right. Like this is like a 16 mini series episode where like we've got like multiple spin-offs in the works. Okay, so I don't know. Anyways. So Gonz is famous for this reason because I was reading an article, scrolling down to the bottom. I don't know. Pick MSN. Pick some. Yeah. I was at work and I was like. It's Gonz! It's Gonz TikTok video at the bottom. It's like, baby, you're famous. Like, people know you.
Yeah.
Like, literally, people know you. My mom literally Googled you today because I told her I was meeting you on Sunday. And I was like, just type Sims and Gonz and you're good to go. Like, you don't need anything else. And she's like, oh, is it him? Like, found you in like 2 seconds. So you are doing such a phenomenal job in this community. You are welcome. So, but I'm very proud of you, and I can't believe it's been a year, and we have so many more exciting projects that I will happily ask you to be a part of, specifically your lore. I think it is amazing how much lore you know, and I love that. People love that though, because us generic players who just are like, I build, I don't really, like, it's nice to know that there is lore, and anybody who's writing that lore is getting that validation that people are seeing it, and you are bringing that to life. Sure. So.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm going to continue to do that.
Well, I love that. And I'm trying to think of like a fun question because I don't want to end this off on like a Bella Goth train. Do you have one moment in the past year where you like, holy shit, I made it? I mean, holy wow, I made it.
Yeah, actually, it's been a couple. The first one was when the Sims team reached out to put me on the main menu. That was humongous.
Yes.
You know, that was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh. And then again, I remember receiving an email from both YouTube and EA that was like, you are one of the highest viewed gaming TikTok creators in 2024. And that was like big, right?
Yeah.
Because I know obviously you have like the big people like Markiplier, like millions and millions of views, mm-hmm. right? But then like under that tier is that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That being there and being validated like that was huge for me. And that's really when I thought like, whew, like I've made it. You know what I mean? So that was big for me.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you. I had another question after. I'm like, this is a weird question to follow up after. You dipped your toes into voice acting this year. What was your thoughts on voice acting?
Honestly, it's a ton of fun. Just like everything, I try to like over deliver. I think I sent you like 5 different styles.
You did.
Of everything. But it's fun. It's challenging because you don't know how the person that you're gonna be spliced into the video is saying, so you don't know necessarily like how they're gonna receive it. So bringing the right emotion to that, understanding the lines in the script to really get kind of the impact that you're supposed to make. I think that's really the. It's challenging, but I like it. I hope to do it more. So if you need voice actors for your stuff, I'm happy to do it. I have a very seductive voice, so looking forward to it.
You definitely do. I can't give too much away, as we are still working on this project, but I will definitely say that me and OMG will definitely be collabing a lot more after our conversation last night. So we will definitely have more need for voice actors in 2025. Let's put it that way, with a winky face. So
love that.
Yeah. Well, Gonz, thank you so much for coming here today, and thank you for all of the help that came into this, the multiple Twitch calls, literally everything that you have done to, you know, make me feel comfortable doing this. And now I'm no longer scared. You popped my cherry correctly, and now I feel comfortable doing it. Yes.
You know, my entire chat was just like like the biggest. They can't see because their eyes are behind their head at this moment now. So.
Good. I'm taking a page out of your Nard's book, taking a little cringe, just a little cringe. But no, seriously, my first ever Twitch stream was 6 months ago, and it was a very bad fail, and it scared me away from Twitch streaming. And then I got this opportunity to pick today, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. And I don't care anymore. I'm just gonna do this. It's time to take Stassi to the next level. Let's get you on a different platform. So thank you again for helping me with everything. I really appreciate it. Where can we find you? Where can we find all of your work?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok at Mynameisgonz. I actually have a merch line that I'm working on, but I don't have much more information about that right now. But I'm excited to have that, and yeah, I'm gonna send you some stuff.
I'm gonna send you some stuff too, because I'm very excited for the third season of with Real Life, like second season of Real Life of Stassi, but Stassi J Unplugged. I'm really excited to I'm finally now like into my own. I'm not nervous to do interviews anymore. I could literally interview anybody at this point and just be like at the end being like, so did you play Neopets or was that just me? Like
Oh, Neopets, love that.
Oh, again, if anybody is listening to this and knows anybody at Neopets and you liked the chaos that I brought to this extremely tamed interview that I was able to pull off today, please, I am manifesting interviewing. The Neopets team have a podcast, and I really want to be on their podcast. I also want them to be on my podcast, because that will live out my favorite moments of my childhood, of getting to talk about The Sims and Neopets at the same time.
We'll make it happen.
I'm manifesting it, baby. That's all I'm doing. I'm just manifesting. But Gonz, thank you so much for coming here today. Again, you are a dear friend of mine. And I'm also Tropical Storm Debbie pending. I hope to meet you on Sunday in real life.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am coming to Orlando this weekend for everybody listening to this. I'm very excited. I'm going to experience Disney World and Universal with my best friend, and it's close to where Gonz is. So I'm very excited to get the chance to meet you. So very excited.
I love how my chat's probably like messaging you right now and be like, Stassi, like, just send me a message that you're okay after
Guys, we're meeting at a Hard Rock Cafe, okay? Like, I don't know how much wild we can get ourselves into. Well, the only thing I'm excited to learn about after my 16 panics I had today of trying to figure out what a tropical storm truly is, what is a tropical depression, because didn't know that was a thing. And I'm like, okay. So after all of this panic, now it says on Sunday, no rain for Orlando. And I was like, just throwing my this notepad out the way. Like, I was just like, I was texting
Orlando
a good chunk of this day, being like, hey, so like, what's the weather saying for you?
What you have to remember that, yeah, exactly, all day about it. Unless, and we can talk about this later, but unless the hurricane hits right on the coast of Orlando and rips through, by the time it goes through Miami and everything, it settles down and it just becomes rain. So you'll be fine. Bring a poncho. You'll be okay.
I'm just more concerned about the plane landing and getting there. That's the part where we're getting there early enough. So I'm like, anyways, I can continue rambling. I'm very good at that. Thank you, Gonz, for coming on here today, talking to me, and getting this ready for me. I'm going to. I don't know how to properly do this, because at this point I just say, have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye. And I press stop recording. So
Yeah, so yeah, you'll just click stop stream at like that big red button, and then you're done.
Okay. But I want to do a nice little outro as I've like literally like fixed my jacket as I can like feel everything. And now I feel very embarrassed again as well. Again, used to doing this on Zoom, kids. And no video. It's just that.
Exactly.
Well, Gonz, again, thank you so much for coming here. I don't know how I will release this on my platforms, but if I am able to release this on other platforms, I will have links below so you can go follow my dear friend Gonz. Mynameisgonz everywhere. Again, amazing content, very original. I hope you enjoyed our interview today. If I go to vlog, it's just me, right? Yeah. Again, I'm so sorry, everybody. Next time when I do this, it won't be so cringy. Okay. Well, thank you, Gonz, again, and have a great rest of your night. And as I exit this, I want to give a special thank you to everybody. So I want to thank everybody for coming and watching the stream today. I definitely have to thank Gonz. I cannot thank him enough for coming here and, helping me do this. I want to thank the Gamers for allowing us creators to have these special Twitch streams on Tuesdays. I also want to thank the Gamers community. You guys, ladies, are just absolutely phenomenal and amazing, and I love being part of this amazing community. If you've watched this Twitch stream today and you're like, I want to get to know you, Stassi, a little bit more, please go to my Instagram page. Again, I mainly focus on Sims content. It is Stassi J Sims 4 on Instagram. Or if you want to go check out my podcast, I'm on every streaming service. For a podcast, it is Stassi J Unplugged. That's all you would need to be able to find it. I have over 223 episodes to go and explore. I get to interview a lot of amazing people. If you've listened to this and I have not completely scared you away and you want to get interviewed by me, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to interview you and get to know your stories. I have a lot of exciting projects down the line, and I can't wait to share it with everybody. And I really just want to thank everybody who tuned in today and everybody who asked a question. I want to thank Jen and Mary and Court. I love you all. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I wish everybody the best night and a great rest of your day, and I hope we get to chat soon. Bye, everyone.